if you're looking at a creation, there's the spark, the initial spark of a creation, and that's its own special thing that can't be duplicated ever. And so whatever is created out of that is now this living thing that you carry, and that spark is part of it all the time. This is how I see our relationship. If we can spend enough time together to create together and to stay on the same page as far as like songs and music and like the stage show and the sounds and all that stuff, but then also have our own time apart, when we come together, even if things are hard and taxes and dog poop, when we get on stage and it's like you look over at this person and there's like however many, like hundreds of people are staring, and you're seeing like their magic and how it's igniting this room. It's like it's impossible to not have a spark still.
Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish on all the major podcast and social media platforms, and of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Curious Goldfish. I'm Jason English. I talk to a lot of independent artists on this show, and the math keeps getting harder. You're supposed to be a songwriter, a content creator, a small business owner, and a touring act all at the same time. And the social media algorithms decide which one of those weeks you actually can win. Most artists I talk to are figuring it out 1 month at a time. But my guests today have been figuring it out for more than 20 years. Dwight and Nicole are a married duo from Burlington, Vermont, who came up in the blues and roots clubs of New York and New England. They've turned down record contracts their families thought were crazy to pass up. They've moved through blues, jazz, country, punk, and roots, and they built a fan base that came along through every era because they never asked their fans to pick a lane either. Their new album is called Day or Night, produced by Joel Hamilton. They cut it down from roughly 163 songs to 12. The chorus of one of those 12 came from a dream Nicole had the night her grandmother died, and the way she tells the dream is one of the strongest moments I've recorded on the show. We also get into how a married band keeps its fights off the stage, and why Nicole still calls herself a beginner after 2 decades. The small boat math of a 20-year indie career. So from Burlington, Vermont, here are Dwight and Nicole. Let's dive in. Hey guys,
Hey.
What's up?
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's a gorgeous day here in the South in mid-April when we're talking on the heels of your new album, which we're going to get into. But it's a pleasure to meet you all. Really appreciate it. I know you guys are probably really busy, but you guys are calling in from your home studio, looks like in Burlington.
It is, yeah, we are, and it's rainy and cold here. So we're out your way.
We're literally wearing jackets in our house.
Yeah, no, it's cold. It's cold.
Right.
April's always in Vermont, can go any which way, including a lot of snow, even this time of year. So we'll see what happens.
Well, good. I've never been to Vermont, so like I've been to so many states, but not Vermont. So I have to get up there at some point when it's beautiful and colorful and all the things that I've heard about.
It's incredible. We've been all over the country and all over the world, really, and this is the place we were like, I don't really ever want to leave. Whenever we're here, I'm sad when we're leaving. So
yeah, and we moved up from the city, so it was a big change of pace for us, and we never looked back, really.
Love it.
Cool. Yeah, I have a lot of questions. So first off, congrats on the new album. It's called Day or Night. I don't know what the right industry term is. It's very pleasing to the ear.
Oh, thank you.
It's something that you just listen to and you're like, okay, I got to listen to it again, and especially the first 3 songs. For whatever reason, I mean, the whole album's great, but like the first 3 songs, I keep coming back to. So, well done, congratulations.
The first one almost didn't make it onto the record, so that's good to know.
All right, so I have so many questions. You guys are married, and I respect it so much. But do you guys ever get sick of each other with all the things you do together? I mean, it's a lot, right?
I love this question.
Yeah, this is good. All the interviews off to a start.
Yes, and we are definitely just regular humans who like are sometimes like this with each other. But For me specifically, I would say that being in a relationship within a band, or a band within a relationship, each thing has strengthened the other thing, shockingly. Because the band has helped us to work together to learn how to, okay, it's not always about what you're feeling angry about in that moment, or some way that you were slighted in some moment. Sometimes you're like, the cameras are rolling and you're on stage and you're like, all right, let's bring it into focus and let's be professional. And that actually, once you do that, you realize you weren't that mad really in the first place, and you didn't have to make a whole thing out of something. So it kind of trains you to let things go and to focus on the team mission and what's important. So like, we used to fight pretty badly when we first got together because we just didn't know. And then having a band together, it's like, you can't, you're in business together, and you're also working towards creating a powerful energy together that's it has to be unified. Otherwise, what are you even doing on stage, right? Like,
Yeah.
so for us, each thing has made, the sum is greater than the you
And
know what I'm saying.
you owe your audience
Some of its parts.
You can't bring any energy that's weird
Yeah, no.
into the musical space when we're doing the back and forth with everybody. So even the how do we argue in a relationship took a while to figure out, but it was never. I can't remember one gig. I can't speak for you where we were like on stage. I'm angry.
No.
I'm always so happy to be
Never.
on stage together.
Right.
And in some ways, that might be a bomb after a fantastic BALM, not a BOMB.
Like, oh.
I might. We get done with the show. We have an exchange with the audience. It's like, yeah, you can't hold on to anything. So, and I think we're guarded about our energy to make sure that before we're on, we do our rituals that get us into the thing so that we can be proper for the audience and give them the right thing.
Yes.
And nothing extra, no weird business.
No weird business. Sure. And then if you can rise to that occasion for strangers, then it's like, well, why can't I do that when we're like, why is there like a bag of dog poop in the front entryway of that? Like, whatever little like thing that couples might like butt heads about, we're just like, it's easier to let it go. I find.
Yeah.
Even though there's codependence for sure.
You get older too, things happen and people that you love are no longer there and situations happen. And so you're, how much do I want to fight anything anymore? You just get less with that. I don't have as many hills to stick a flag in. I'm like, I just want to keep doing what we're doing. And,
and that's made the band better because we've been through these life changes together and losing of our grandparents and our parents and like, all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, well, the music becomes even more important. It's it's catalyzing. It's like
yeah, we watch all those documentaries. You watch the Metallica and the Red Hot Chili Pepper, all the band dynamic. The U2 one was good. It's like our drummer Ezra Oken and I. He's like my brother. Everybody's had their like things, but it's you figure a way to get over it, and then it's bigger than you. It's just so silly.
Well, I think it's a huge blessing to see you guys create art and all the magic and the energy. So like it's definitely not a criticism. I don't want to assume the worst, but I'm just thinking about like the day to day, right? Like you mentioned the dog poop. It's like,
right.
I think everybody kind of needs their space. And so when you're romantic and you're doing life together, and then you're also making music, which is very stressful and very, taxing, I would think, right, on your heart and your soul and your mind and all the things. I'm like, man, that's a lot,
The business part.
The business part is tough and kind of constant. Hard. It's like any small business. You're just always doing stuff. You know what I mean? And we're not you two, I guess, but we're also not like a bar. But we're in this like middle zone, so we're hustling. And luckily we have a manager and an agent that help. But there is that. Also, like, she gives me my space all the time.
Yeah,
I play professionally with a whole bunch of different groups, play drums for groups where I'm not up front singing and playing guitar. And there's never a moment when she's like, you shouldn't be taking these gigs if we're not working, or you shouldn't be practicing. She's like such an encourager for all of that. So
that's good. Well, you mentioned, you guys are on YouTube. Well, Bono's great, but he doesn't sound like Nicole. I mean, come on. I mean, come on. were kind of leading to the next question there, Dwight. So this is a layup. I've interviewed a few married couples through the years, but I always try to give the opportunity. So Nicole, I'll start with you. I guess, what do you appreciate most about Dwight?
His ability to kind of like let things go and start over again is wonderful. I grew up in a household where there was like, I don't know, like probably most people you see modeled this kind of like grudge holding thing. You know, everybody's like still mad about something that happened a year ago or something. And he's like, we're very similar in this way. We like, what are we doing right now? Moving forward, how do we make this better? Let's take assessment of what we have, like every day. And because the world is so tumultuous, it's like that's like survival tactic stuff, like basic stuff. But I'll be stewing about something and he just is like, and we're moving on. And now what, you know? And I think our dog helps with that, but Dwight is the number one, I think, purveyor of keeping the land tilled all the time. Like he's not just seeing me as I was 20 years ago. He sees me for who I am now. And we choose to keep reconnecting that way musically and artistically and creatively and our relationship as well.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. So Dwight, you mentioned Nicole's very encouraging and gives you space or whatever. What else do you appreciate about her?
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, the freedom thing is amazing because that's a big part of me is being out creating and mentoring and being in the community. I'd say another really thing about her is that she's a very positive person and keeps turning the lens when things get a little bit cloudy for me. And so there's always like an uplifting feeling with her attitude around challenges, or let's take taxes, for instance, which is the next 2 days.
For instance.
She'll reframe it in a way that's, fun and kind of like a little bit, this is not the end of the world, because I can get overwhelmed because I'm kind of juggling a couple of different things right now. So,
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, sense of humor, dark sense of humor, which is just
let
ridiculous.
My secrets out.
Oh, exactly. My favorite thing. I mean, it'd be worse if it didn't come like that. You'd be like, wow, these guys are on their way up or something. But yeah, she's got a wicked sense of humor.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks for sharing. And your all's origin story, which we don't have to rehash, but it's amazing. Sort of the lightning struck on stage, once when I think you asked, one of you asked the other person to join them on stage, and the lightning struck, and it was like game on, depending on how you want to look at it. Maybe game over for your other partners, but game on for you. That's amazing how you guys met and the energy and the passion and the lightning that happened on stage. Have you all been able to, has that come back, I guess, in certain performances or in certain settings, or will that not ever be sort of replicated because it was the first time?
I mean, first time of anything is always its own thing because everything kind of pivots around that perspective. If you're looking at a creation, there's the initial spark of a creation, and that's its own special thing that can't be duplicated ever. And so whatever is created out of that is now this living thing that you carry, and that spark is part of it all the time. This is how I see our relationship. Like if we can spend enough time together to create together and to stay on the same page as far as like songs and music and like the stage show and the sounds and all that stuff, but then also have our own time apart. When we come together, even if things are hard and taxes and dog poop, when we get on stage and it's like you look over at this person and there's like however many, like hundreds of people are staring, and you're seeing like their magic and how it's igniting this room. It's like it's impossible to not have a spark still. For me anyway, it's like I feel that spark like sometimes just accidentally, you know what I mean? I guess that's what sparks do. It's like, you're running along the carpet and then you touch the doorknob and it's like, whoo, it was like that. It gets you, it's out of all of a sudden kind of a thing where you're like, oh, wow.
We've been fortunate never to have like a jadedness kind of a thing. And so that original first spark time or whatever, we made decisions, maybe subconsciously, but to always protect that and make sure that was there, that we had the charge. We grew up playing blues music. I grew up next to a racetrack. Like, they would sneak me in back door to play drums with groups and stuff. But if you don't have that, the charge or the channel or whatever, and it becomes this other thing. Like, I heard there was an interview once, a guy was like, and I don't remember the artist, but they were like, I've got to play my hit again every night or whatever.
Clapton.
Was it him?
I think so.
Really?
He was talking about not playing Layla anymore because everybody wants it so bad and it's annoying.
I was like, you know what I mean? It's like, just protect your thing and do that. If someone wants to hear one of our hits one morning every night, play it every night. I mean, it's
the perspective of there's a different like time in the music industry right now. We're in a time where only the like ones who know how to hunker down and preserve energy and do things in a very economic and smart way are still standing. Like, you, as an independent artist, 20 years being an independent artist, you kind of like make your own little label and like find your people. And then when there's money to be had, you start doling it out and like hiring people to do things for you. If you're smart, you can turn that into like, let's stay afloat here and keep this thing because it's important. This little boat is carrying a lot of energy, and like we're supposed to take care of that. We're supposed to steward that around, and like it feels like a very important thing to do. If we're thrift shopping and we're driving a secondhand car for 10 years, like that's what we're doing to keep it going. It's important work to do. And then if you can do that, and then you find other ways to make ends meet, you find at the end of the tunnel, you're still standing, you're still floating. You're still giving something real into the world and getting real energy back. And the currency exchange is like, that's abundance, and it starts to accumulate and grow itself. And, it's not about, I don't know, a lot of the things that we were told, or like Dwight was talking about the Metallica, or Red Hot Chili Peppers, the excesses of that time, living in that way is the only way that you can, get away with fighting all the time and then hiring like a on the road psychiatrist to help you guys through your problems in between massages or something. Like, if it's this tight and it's like the team is us and then like two other people, it's like we have to tight ship. You know what I mean? It's like we can't afford to be all over the place ever.
We've learned all the parts of the business. We understand all the different roles. It's like in the kitchen, if I was a sous chef and I was a prep cook and I was a dishwasher and all the things. And so you appreciate that. And I wasn't any happier when we were less successful and had less money than we had more money. We had like a TV thing and then maybe some placements and you're up and then you don't. It seems silly you just keep doing your work. That's what way I look at it. I don't look at it as like,
Well, it's funny that you Nicole, you started and Dwight just sort of wrapped it. You all went there because I just completed a survey of, it was like hundreds of people, actually, a lot of fans, a lot of independent artists, and some people in the industry about a couple things. One, artificial intelligence. Two, streaming. But it's more than streaming. Like, okay, is streaming good or bad and all that stuff? It's really more about, as independent artists, how can you make it kind of how you were describing, Nicole? Like, what does that mean, staying afloat? Like, what does that mean for everybody? And what are the tactics and what's the right recipe? And I know it probably depends on everybody, but the feedback, I'm putting together all the results right now. And so that'll be ready for release in a few weeks. But it's fascinating how you assume the advice people are given around like content creation and all the things on social media, it plays a role, but it doesn't actually play the role that I think everybody wants, which is like committed fans, dedicated fans, loyal fans, engagement, memories, in a long journey with somebody, and so it's just been really fascinating. I think you guys are a great example of a good path.
I would love to talk to you about this. This is like so up our alley, like this whole thing, specifically with social media, because we're not like social media lovers per se, for so many reasons. And so like, it's like, okay, well, we have to kind of engage with this because there are people out there and we're indie artists. So we're not like, working with like Disney Channel level or, you know what I mean, of promotional funds or anything like that. So it's like we have to engage where we can when we can. But like, where are these lines? There are so many lines, these gray areas of like, you're doing too much. Your whole life is social media. You're not going to be a great artist. You're just not, And there was a time when I was on the arts council and I was just like, the best artists are not necessarily the ones who are the best at like filling out the paperwork to get the grants. Like they're not necessarily, they can cross, but they're not necessarily the same people. There's just,
if you can be creative in whatever ways that is, if that's social media or wherever it is that if you can do that in a creative way, then that's cool. If you can wear like a mom and pop business where we're talking about her fantastic jewelry. She's sold, she can't even keep doing it because she sells out too much. And I'm playing drums and, working with artists and doing some producing and whatever. It's like, if you can enjoy all those things and they're honest creative outlets, and YouTube channel is an honest outlet, whatever your thing, then good. You're putting something good out. You're making everybody feel a little bit better, and you're tapping into your stuff. Everybody's got whatever their creative little, the juice. So
the honesty is important.
The honesty.
From your experience, if you had to describe like the Dwight Nicole super fan, what's the good description at a high level, and what behavior do you guys see that super fan show you?
Wow. Okay. Loyalty. We have fans that have been with us since like our first show together ever, literally. And they're like, they just get us. And then this is speaking exactly, I mean, of course, because you're doing the interview and you know these things, and this speaks exactly to what we were just talking about, which is the fact that like, if you're being authentic, if you're in your sovereign wholeness, and you're able to be yourself and be true and be open-hearted and generous with your energy, but also holding yourself, who you are, and you're sharing that from a real place inside. People feel that, and those people will come with you throughout the whole thing. Like, it's not just like, when we first started, we both were playing blues bands, and a lot of the bands were like, the fans rather were like, yeah, I was just telling Dwight, I remember the first time I did God Bless the Child at one of my blues shows. And I'm like, Billie Holiday, like, whatever, I'm going to sing whatever I want, right? And no. People were like, Hell's Angels people. This was in New Hampshire, and I'm not going to specify that, but it was a long time ago. But anyway, they were like, what are you doing, jazz? Don't tell me you're doing jazz, Nicole. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I sing jazz. I love jazz. Like, I love all of this music,
rock, country.
But like, they might not have followed us through the arcs of all of these different kinds of singer-songwriter eras and all of these different kinds of, jazzier things, or like rock or like punk eras. Like, we've been through all these different musical landscapes because it's all part of who we are. And that's the most important thing, is like, if I'm feeling like 3-chord punk song, I want to be able to write that. Why would I let anybody tell me that I can't do that? And so I'm going to do it. And the people who get that are still with us, and they're 20-year
accepting. They're kind of idiosyncratic, and their heart, they lead with their hearts. I would say our super fans all do that.
We're kinfolk.
Yeah.
So Nicole, were you alluding to the fact that if you all were on a label, the freedom goes away because they're going to have a few things in mind as a priority, which might not allow you to go from jazz to country to rock to pop, right? Like that, is that what you were alluding to?
Indeed, I was. That's definitely something that has come across our, in our lives. We've faced this multiple times, and even recently, but certainly when we were younger, individually and as our duo, like labels and contracts with like really amazing management people, and like all of these people who our families were like, this is incredible. And we're like, actually, it's a pass. And they're like, what are you doing with your lives? There's a matter of like self-sufficiency and scrappiness that you have to have if you want to be the kind of artist that does whatever it is, whether people say they don't like it or not. You're like, I'm sorry you don't like this album. I was in my sad girl era.
And the song,
and you know what I
the
mean?
songs
Like,
come out,
sorry.
they come. You can't decide. You can't, I mean,
No.
I'm not like a writer that's sits down, I'm going to write a reggae tune. I mean, if it comes out that way, that's where it's coming. So and then we pick, usually Nicole picks the best 15 of the songs. You know, the ones that I bring, we write together and we write alone. I'm writing a lot myself, just like all the time.
All the time.
And then she says, I'll say, well, here's 30 or 40 songs, see if you like any of them. And then she has a big input into what the record's going to look like. And our manager was and is a DJ, so he's been like really critical in like helping us like get a good playlist of the songs and figure out what, because we like to work in the album format. What does that look like? How are we going to say all the things we want to say with the songs? And he brought us a good cover to do on this record too. And it's like, so I just want to do the output and then let somebody else make the decision, you know, for the most part about how the record is going to look, you know, the output.
That's very timely. All right, so let's get to the music. So you mentioned Sad Girl era, but you guys have had, I think, probably maybe more, but 3 distinct sort of eras. It's like the duo phase. There was the full band when you added the keyboardist and drummer. And then I don't know if it's a different one or just an evolution of the last one, but it's sort of this now modern expansiveness. Because the album Day or Night, it's very sonic. It's got the sound is just very. I couldn't tell if I would listen to this at a spa or at a coffee shop or whatever. But it was just like one of those things, like I mentioned earlier, very pleasing. So anyway, I guess are those 3 eras? Am I directionally there, or are there 9 more that I missed, or would you describe them any differently?
There's so many more eras than that, in my opinion. But those are 3. Yeah, I would say we had our sort of like unplugged. We were never unplugged, but people called it unplugged. It would be like just Dwight with a guitar and me with a tambourine. We would wear both cowboy boots and we would set up a board, like a flat, like, you know, press board on the stage and mic it so we could like hit it. Not like pounding all over the place, except for like the last song or something, but like getting like some rhythmic kind of separation happening. So it's just a little more complex than just your average guy, guitar, girl, and guy singing. You know what I mean? Like we brought some texture, and now we're able to hire people to make that texture really come to life. But we're playing like the same music in our heads. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like when we've done Round in Love with the full band, in our heads, when I'm doing this little shimmer thing with the tambourine up against the mic like that with the reverb, I'm hearing this keyboard thing kind of, and I'm like replicating it as much as I can with like little bits of metal and wood and a mic. But that's, you know, what I'm getting at. If the song is there, and so throughout all the eras, we still feel the same.
I think the change is that the textural stuff, this was the first time we played the stuff from the new record ever, even on stage. So that felt a little bit different. I wasn't thinking about another incarnation of that.
Yeah.
But we'll do the middle of the show, we'll do we'll do one of those in the middle of the whatever the textural stuff is. So it's like our show's everything, all of the 3 eras or the 8 eras put together now.
Inside of our hearts, they're the same, but externally, they're totally different.
Things have changed, and our producer's been fantastic. Joel Hamilton, he's like a wizard.
Yeah.
And we've had some very interesting players from all. It's just things have been happening creatively that have changed our sound.
And we have sub eras as well, like. We have had like more kind of where we'll do more jam stuff, like B3 organ and like horns and background vocalists. And it's like we're getting into kind of the jammier, we're not jam. I mean, for us, we're not jammy at all. Our songs are like 3 minutes, pop song, in and out kind of thing. But sometimes we'll like expand and have that kind of band that everybody can play. They're all like solo amazing people, and we can kind of be sonic and like fun about it and loose about it. And then there's times where we're like, we need to recreate the album. Like our last show, at the Higher Ground, we're like, we want the sounds that are on the album. It's an album release. So we want to like specific and tight, and everyone's doing like that version. And that was so fun. We've never done that to that level. Right?
And shout out to Parker, who really got the sounds. There's a lot of keyboard stuff that's difficult to get. And when I mean difficult, just the compression and the delays and the tones and the way that many of the songs have 2 or 3 parts of keyboards. I'm playing, I call it the lump, the simple bits. And then somebody else comes in and does all the beautiful extensions. And Joel found a way to minimize that, but also maximize the feeling of all of it without it becoming too heavy. But Parker really had to boil the most important part of each of those 3 the 3 layered things to put out, the 3 keys parts to put out on that show. And I thought he did a really good job.
It was amazing.
He had all sorts of synthesizers and all this. I didn't know all this stuff.
Well, the album landed, I think it was at 12 songs. 12 songs. Yeah. But I've read where y'all had 163 or something crazy to sort of start with. So the 12 where you all landed, is there a theme that tied those all together to make the album like more cohesive? Like, and what would that have been?
We followed the energy of all those songs into the studio and play. And Joel really likes like lo-fi recording. He doesn't want fleshed out multi-track demos. He wants iPhone like caveman stuff. So
he's like, whatever you got,
we'd roll them. We'd roll the stuff. And there was a couple that we were kind of felt had an energy. I would say 80 or 90% of the songs were done, but we always leave about 10% where anything could happen that week when we're in the city. And so those became that by us sifting through a bunch of things and kind of different people identifying that there was an energy there, different people seeing threads between some of the songs. You mentioned Beautiful and One Morning. One Morning has like a bit of a drum machine and an ethereal kind of effect on the guitar part, and that kind of flows into Beautiful. And so a lot of that's Joel's thing, and a lot of that is us loving those 2 songs, and Dennis saying, well, these 2 really would work nice so it's a group effort. Yeah.
Very nice. All right. So I do want to ask you, so did Beautiful, I heard, or I read, maybe I heard on an interview you guys did, was that like a dream that you had, Nicole, about being about your grandmother passing away or something? Yeah.
Yeah. So the song, the music of that song, Dwight started playing it like a year or so ago, like the little guitar part and the riff of that. But and so one day we were down here rehearsing the musical part was Dwight was playing his riff, and then Ezra started to just play a drum part, and then I just started playing a bass part, and we just jammed on it, and we were rolling recording because we record our rehearsals. And then afterwards we were listening back and we were like, wait a minute, that little part where we were just like tuning up and stuff was like a song, a great song actually. And so the Isn't It Beautiful part is a riff on a dream that I had the night that my mother's mother passed away. I had a crazy dream about her, and I was in Trinidad, and I was in the past. At some point, I woke up like in the dream, like, do you have lucid dreams?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So like I woke up in the dream and I'm like, where am I? Yeah. And I didn't know where I was, but I was like on a beach and there's waves crashing to my left. And I'm walking on the hard, like wet sand. And I look down and I'm wearing like dress shoes, leather polished dress shoes and white socks. And I have a wool pleated skirt on past my knees and a wool vest and a long sleeve white button down shirt. And I'm carrying a bag, heavy, heavy bag. And I'm like an 8-year-old girl. And I was like, why do I have to carry this bag? Why do I have to wear shoes and wool? It's hot, but I was in like an English colloquial school, like a private school or something. And I was walking on the beach and I had this sense that I was going to get in trouble because I'm not allowed to walk on the sand in my school clothes because like my shoes get messed up. And so I was like, aha, I'm going to walk on this part where the sand is hard and I'm not going to get a ton of sand and I'm going to be fine. And I'm thinking this in my mind and kind of in the back of my mind, I'm like, where am I again? And who am I? And then I have this like thing the sensation to look up and I see the water hitting rocks and splashing up into a rainbow. And in that rainbow, I saw my grandmother's face in this dream. And then she came close to me and I was like, Mommy Burns, is it you? Which is what I called her. And then I was like, wait, I think I'm her. I was like, am I me or are you me? Like, and I'm asking her in a rainbow mirage in this dream. And then she was like, just let's go. Like, isn't it beautiful? Like, don't worry about anything. This is perfect. And remember how beautiful it is. And like, don't ever forget how lucky we are to be here and how incredible it is. And like, let's go together. And she starts like going and I'm like chasing after her and she's like trailing rainbows. And I start flying. So I'm like running and I'm flying. And then she's like swirling around me and she's just kept saying, isn't it so beautiful? And I'm like, yes. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, that was the best dream I've ever had. I was like flying with my grandmother in Trinidad or something. And then I was like, oh my God, I think maybe my grandmother just died. And like, maybe she just was visiting me. And that was like her spirit telling me to remember how beautiful life is and how magical it is. And then lo and behold, like, I knew that I would get a call from my dad being like, or my mom being like, hey, honey, are you sitting down kind of thing. And 2-3 hours later, like around 9 a.m., I was sitting in bed and my phone rang and I was like, there it is. That's the call. And it was. My dad's like, honey, I have news for you. And I was just like, I know what happened. Like she visited.
gosh.
Yeah. And like I had this seed planted in me from that. And
So she kept that with her for years and years because her mom has since
my
passed.
mom now has passed.
And so on that demo, when we went down and I was playing that thing, I'm mumbling stuff. You can hear just like not scatting, but just words and melody while we're all
And I'm
jamming.
like,
And then she was like, it sounds like it's saying, isn't it beautiful? And then that's where the whole thing is. And then she thought it was going to be an instrumental song
with just that chorus. Isn't it beautiful?
And I was like, I woke up in New York City at a coffee house and the whole thing came out, the whole verses.
He was like, I have ideas for the verse. He's like, in my song of life, the verse could be joy and pain. And I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful to me.
It was just like that.
Tears.
Dang.
Yeah, the day before.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Weird. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So that was incredible. A dream's a dream, but a dream like that's like next level, right?
She's still crazy. Oh my God.
I'm crazy, Jay.
You two should get an interview just about that stuff together. I don't have any dreams.
Oh, us too.
You can leave me. The two of you. I can't. Yeah, I don't have any dreams, so I don't remember any of them.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So the other one I do want to ask you about is One Morning. So again, I think I read, Nicole, where you talked about this is about like taking it all in, slowing down, and being witness to the world sort of just pulling apart everything that has been built before you, in terms of, I don't know if that's societal things or,
yes,
cultural things or whatever, but yeah, give me examples of, what, the unwinding and undoing, like what does that actually mean in your life that you're witnessing right now?
Well, I mean that in so many ways. Honestly, I feel it's a very good question. I feel so often that the world that I knew a few years ago is now gone. And like every few years that go by, I'm like, wow, the person I was a few years ago is gone. And it's just, I look back with this reflection and in part because I live my life every day. I'm like, this is a new day. You know what I mean? And having gone through some major losses when I was a kid, my brother passed away, who I adored, when I was 13 and he was 15, right before my 13th birthday, actually. And like that loss was like cataclysmic, devastating in my family, my mom and dad mourning, and like their relationship just exploded, and like it was just really crazy cakes for me. And so the thing that I took from that, even at that time, which felt like this wise aspect of the future coming down to comfort me and tell me it's okay, was this like, just remember that every moment is precious. And, I'm very lucky that my brother and I were tight and had each other's back at all times. And like, I was so appreciative of him and thankful to him in the moment when we were together, I was like, thank God for you. Like, don't ever leave me. Like, these people are crazy out here. Like, it's just you and me, you know, like having that for 15 years is better than not having that at all, you know? And I knew that even then, like, I wouldn't trade that time with him for anything. Like, obviously it would be great if that didn't happen and he was still here, but like, he's here in another way. And I'm hip to that also because of him being gone, with our connection and the depth of that. Like, I have that wisdom, and I think I carry that through everything. So when I see something like what now at my age, like being a woman who's lived through a lot of eras, I see the destruction of the old, and it's not always just a bad thing. It's like, okay, things are crumbling. It's definitely not fun and easy to be in a ground that's shifting below you all the time and tumultuous water all the time. It's like, can I float in calm water for a second? Well, not in this environment. No. And like, we're here to experience this. And so, like, how do we A, survive, B, thrive, C, have fun, 4, continue to evolve? Like, we, you know, I'm sorry, ABC4 is the thing, a joke between me and my dad. But like,
What's the ABC4 mean?
1, 2, 3, D, like just changing from letters to, changing from letters to numbers really quickly. Okay. Anyway,
it's like a binary ones
you
and
people heard,
zeros,
some
too?
of you guys heard ABC4, right?
Yeah.
Or 1, 2, 3, D.
Yeah.
All right. So like,
you know, she wrote that whole thing came, finished dinner, getting home, sitting in the living room, playing that riff that's on the record on the guitar, and then she has a whole song. It just comes up. She writes just like that a lot.
That's so cool.
Un parino, don't do that a little bit, and that's it. And you're a bit. Yeah. 1, 2, A, C. Not that. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's great. Well, thanks for sharing. I mean, those first few tracks, so good, so good, so good, so good. So thank you for that. Where do you think you all are as artists today, and where do you want to be?
Okay.
I can answer this.
Yeah.
If you're not.
I got it too.
I'm very, very always in the beginning stages of being who I want to be as an artist. So I always feel like I'm just learning something. I never feel like I have mastered this thing, like ever, ever, ever. In fact, that's not entirely true. I have felt masterful about beginner's mind as an artist. Like, I have been like, okay, for example, when I was like, I want to play bass in this band, and Dwight's like, but you don't play bass. And I was like, yeah, but like, I will. I know I can do that, you know? And he's like, all right, you know, in the meantime,
I thought you could. I just
someday. But before I ever really played bass, like I had picked a couple up in the studio from time to time, and I'm like, I think I can do this. Like, I played violin for many, many years, and I was like, this is kind of like a big violin, and I get it, and I'm into it. But I didn't know until I really did, you know, plug it in and try it and see what it sounded like, see could I do it. That I didn't know, but I was like, I'm gonna book a gig because then I have to do it. And I'm gonna play like bass on 3 songs and challenge myself. And I think creatively I shine in that way. Like, I'm not afraid of music ever. I'm not afraid of any instrument. It's for fun. It's for exploration. It's for trying and expanding. It's not so that it's not like a beat yourself up because you've got something wrong. And like in classical music with the violin in particular, I remember enjoying the constraints of that, like being like, okay, we have to play it exactly like this, like Pachelbel wrote it like that, and that's how you're going to play it. Then there's like a freedom in mastering that, like getting it exact. So it's like, but in neither of those cases are you already arrived at some like landing point. That's not a thing. So I'm always like a beginner. So I don't know that I can say that I have arrived at any point. And you know what I mean? I kind of, I'm a happy beginner at the beginning of my creative journey all the time.
That's awesome. Especially, that's crazy to hear you say that actually after all the years of experience, you know, that's, you know, good for you to have that perspective. Yeah.
That's easy. Like, that's not one of the ones that I have to like wake up in the morning and write over and over in my journal. Like, it just always is just that, you know what I mean? I feel that all the time, and it's like an exciting way to be, you know.
Yeah. Dwight, what
There's
about
always
you?
I just still I love playing. I love playing the drums. I love singing. I love playing the guitar, and I could maybe be digging deeper every day, and maybe not Friends and Neighbors or some other cool show or something at the end of the night when my brain is
it's a good
kind
show.
of, maybe I should come down here and put a little bit of extra in with the acoustic guitar. But I love the whole thing, and I have the same charge as I did when I was a kid around it. I don't know. I guess in terms of what would you like to do, uh, there's not a lot that like the accolades that people want. I don't necessarily subscribe to in the same way. It'd be nice to win a Grammy and give it to Joel.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go.
That would be fun for me. Or like
And Joel's your producer, right?
Joel Hamilton.
Joel Hamilton,
That would
producer. Yeah.
that would be fun. Just to mail him my thing. The only thing of visibility is like if to be on Saturday Night Live would be fantastic because it's the only show I've ever watched since I was a little kid. And maybe in my dream they'd let me sit in on the writers' room and watch them all just do one sketch just amongst themselves because I love to see how quick it is and how there's no like you can't get attached to your idea if somebody else is ping ponging something off you. So that would be cool. And what the floor, I study all the skits and all the different sets and everything. I'm a real big fan of that show.
All right. So I got to ask you then, speaking of eras, what's the best SNL era?
It's impossible. There's for me, there's so many people that are, I mean, from Carlin opening the show and the Belushi and Gilda and all these to like, I mean, there's Sarah Sherman is great, and I've gotten to see a lot of the comedians on the show also do their own stand up stuff because I'm not a stand up comedian, but I love that art form. So I also love Maria Bamford. I like real just stand up comedians, or I saw Emo Phillips 2 days ago, whatever. But I like all of the fact that all the different eras for different reasons. I couldn't pick. There's a couple eras that maybe aren't, but I mean. Even maybe you could say the Farley era, there was some real big moments and some not, but like still got Phil Hartman, you got Will Ferrell is So
it's like you too. It's like there's one Joshua Tree, and it's fine.
Yeah.
The other ones are good for but so the ebb and flow of everything. I think that's cool. But yeah, I'm a big I like Dana Carvey and Mike Meyer era.
Okay.
That's kind of I'm in my early 50s, so that's kind of the era where I was in high school, and it's just like sticks in my head.
Norm was doing Weekend Update at that point.
Yeah. So anyway, that's cool. SNL. All right.
I'm like a theater kid, so I want to be in that space and I want to feel all that stuff. I love playing in pit bands and acting. I was in Pirates of Penzance, all that kind of stuff. Like they get both worlds. They get the comedy, they get music, and they get the theater feeling. It's like all of it. It's like,
all right. So speaking of shows, I have to ask Nicole because I've had like 6 other The Voice guests on this podcast. So I have an obligatory question. I apologize because I'm sure you're sick of answering The Voice questions because it was so long ago. But
goofy questions.
No,
I will say. I've talked to a few from American Idol, a few from X Factor, and then the majority are from The Voice. Literally, without exception, The Voice contestants that I've talked to have nothing but positive things to say about their experience. So I just my whole thing is that I want to ask you is like, can you reinforce that? And then like looking back, I mean, are you still grateful that you had that opportunity?
Oh, I wouldn't change a thing about it. And my experience with that show was like music camp for grown-ups kind of vibes. Like it was very much so a unplugging from my normal life. And I know a lot of the people that were on the show, a lot of them are like literally kids. They were there with their parents and like auditioning, and this is like their first big thing. So I felt like my role at that point, I was like in my early 30s. So I was like, I'm the grown up here, and I thought I was so old, and they thought I was so old. Looking back, it's so funny. I'm like, I was not old. Like, I was 32 years old. I felt ancient. I was like, I'm your mother's age, and let me tell you, children, like, but I was like teaching them qigong moves. I'm like, work with your energy, get your voice resonating, feel it in your body, like calm yourself down, use frankincense oil, just breathe that in before you go on stage. Like, I was like that person, bringing them my little tricks are how I get through. How do I get on stage and like transfer my energy and grow stronger and keep my voice being on top? And like, I loved being like big sister role in that, and it was so fun. And if you ever see that show, and I mean, I can't speak for it now, I have not watched it in a long time, we don't even have a television, but like, if you are watching that show and somebody gets out there and totally bombs, just know it's because they're nervous. It's because of what they have going on at home at that time, or they're all talented. Everybody that's there is exceptional and deserves to be there. And if you see somebody bombing out, it's because of other things. It's not because they can't do it.
Yeah.
And I saw that firsthand. Like, every single person that was picked was very good. I remember being on a school bus with everybody, and it was like two buses of us, or not a school bus, like in my mind, in my memory, it's a school bus, but it was like a Greyhound bus. And we were going to like a studio to record some like thing prior to like our very first episode. And the radio is playing, and every single song that came on, like, everyone bursts into like 12-part harmonies. And it's just like, the talent, the level of talent, the amount of fun it is to be around people with that much talent, of all ages, all races, from all parts of the world. It was just really fun, like camp.
So
like
cool.
Music.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Last question. I asked this for everybody. I'm excited to hear your all's answer. And a little bit, it has to do with what Nicole was talking about in terms of beginner's mindset. But so this podcast I do is called Curious Goldfish. It's inspired by the Ted Lasso show. If you guys don't have a TV, you probably missed the Ted Lasso show, but that's fine because we're not going to be deep on it.
We have like Netflix or Apple TV or whatever
Apple
that.
TV, okay.
And we started watching.
So the curiosity thing is important in that show, and then I think it's underrated aspect of life. Like in business or in family relationships. So it inspired the podcast and everything, but I guess at this point in your all's life, in your marriage, in your careers as musicians, and it doesn't have to be about music, but I'm actually curious, what are you all most curious about?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, like in terms of, you say in music or just in life in general?
In life, yeah, it could be anything.
I mean, I want to try a bunch of things. What else are we good at that we don't know about? I mean, I always, am I good at crocheting? I've never tried it, So I want to try a bunch more things. And the things that I feel freedom around, I want to go and be a part of that. I mentioned the comedy thing. I'll go to open mic nights and watch people try to get 3 minutes together. I'll go to see somebody pro. I don't want to do it. I just love being around what I perceive as a very free, risky environment, And so I want to be in as many avenues as I can around as much of that, because that kind of thing, that's where the juice is, and I want to grow from that. I want to push yourself to do that, not the comedy, but to be in that atmosphere where things seem dangerous.
Awesome. I can see you doing stand-up.
I don't think I'm funny enough to do it.
Give yourself some time.
But
Nicole, what are you most curious about?
That's what I would say.
I am most curious about, I want to do more travel. I want to especially travel overseas a lot more. I'm curious about the connections that I will have. So one of the things about me is that I have genetics from every continent inside of me. So I'm like, that's always been so cool to me, to be from all of these places and have like family there in all of these places. And I want to go and like be in every single place where my genetics are from, and be with my like cousins that are there and feel the energy. Even if we can't speak the same language, maybe we can do some music or work on some art projects together, and just find the ways that we can connect, and let that be like a lattice work, like a weave to me, We're so like humans. We're all like kind of doing the same thing. We want to have a good time, and like we're very similar. And so, being a very mixed race person, I find it like that's one of my charges in life, to like remind people like, yeah, you can be from all over the place and have different languages, and we're all kind of the same. Like, let's, find a way to connect and to mesh and to unify ourselves around something that's actually real, which is how much we have in common, what is actually good and working, how do we make things better. Like, I'm an optimist. Obviously.
I feel like there's not full transparency there.
What else, Dwight?
Because overseas, she figures, in terms of being curious, is like, where can I find wheat that I'm not allergic to in America?
Oh, yeah.
Is there non-GMO? Because we have friends. You go to Italy, you can eat as much bread as you want.
Look, there's a bagel somewhere that's not going to hurt me, and I'm going to find it.
Yeah, there's a food connoisseur, little hidden curiosity underneath this whole thing.
There's a baguette
waiting
won't
for her.
give me agita.
Yes.
And I'm going to find it.
Go find it. Please go find it. That's great. All right. Well, congrats on the album. Really appreciate y'all's time today. Thanks for your music, by the way. I mean, it's so good.
Thank you.
And have a great rest of 2026, and hope to see you down here in the South sometime.
I hope we get out to play the Red Stool. We got to talk to Dennis and Kevin about it. Get out and do it. Yeah.
No, seriously. All right. Well, thanks you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very sweet pooch too. I hope we get a chance to show you apples sometime.
Thank you all.